Good afternoon, students. In this new semester, I am here with the subject Geotechnical Engineering 2, which is the continuation of Geotechnical Engineering 1 in the previous semester. Okay, and the module 1 of this course deals with the stresses in soil. So the contents under this module are Boussner's formula for point loads, vertical stress beneath loaded area of strip, rectangular and circular shapes, Newmark's chart, isobar, pressure bulb, and the numerical problems for these portions. Now, what is meant by stress? Stress is defined as the force per unit area across a small boundary. Okay, so in the case of soil, the stresses may be due to self-weight of the soil or may be structural load applied at or below the surface. Okay, and the estimation of this vertical stress is very much important in the case of soil mechanics for the prediction of settlement of buildings, bridges, and for the calculation of earth pressure. And the distribution of the stresses within the soil and which is induced by the loads applied on the surface of the soil is required for settlement analysis of foundation, stability analysis of the soil mass, and the determination of the earth pressure. So these are the application of stress distribution in the case of soil mechanics. Then the stresses in soil may be due to self-weight or due to surface load. Okay, that is there is mainly two types of stresses in soil. One is due to self-weight of the soil. Second, stresses due to surface load. So first we can discuss about stresses due to self-weight. And the stresses due to self-weight is also known as geostatic stress. And the vertical stress in this figure, sorry, here we have to find the vertical stress at point A. The vertical stress on an element A can be determined from the mass of the overlying material, the mass of the soil which is above this point A. Okay, and if gamma represents the unit weight of the soil, the vertical stress is given by the equation, that is sigma z, or geostatic stress sigma z is equal to unit weight of the soil which is overlying the point A and the depth of that point A from the ground surface. And this equation you have studied in Geotechnical Engineering 1, so there is no need to explain this equation much. You have studied this under the topic effective stress. And this is the variation of stress with depth. And this is known as geostatic stress, and this stress is induced due to self-weight of the soil. Okay, so if we want to find out the geostatic stress, we are multiplying the unit weight of the soil and the depth from the ground level. And the vertical stress due to self-weight increases with depth. Okay, and there are three types of geostatic stress, that is total stress, effective stress, and pore water pressure. And these three terms we have studied in effective stress principle, that is total stress. What is meant by total stress? Total stress is the stress induced on the entire soil mass, and pore water pressure is the pressure exerted by the water which is existing within the voids. The pressure exerted by the water in the voids towards the soil mass is known as pore water pressure. And effective stress, what is meant by effective stress? Effective stress is equal to total stress minus pore water pressure. Okay, so these are the three types of geostatic stress. Okay, next is the stress due to surface load. Okay, so the stresses due to surface load we are calculating in order to find out the compressibility of the soil, bearing capacity of foundation, stability of embankments, and lateral earth pressure on earth retaining structures. In all these situations we have to find out the stresses induced by that load. Okay, so when a load is applied to the soil surface, it increases the vertical stress within the soil mass, and this increased stresses are greatest directly under the load area, and but extend indefinitely in all direction. That is, when depth increases, this intensity decreases, and in lateral direction also the stress intensity are varying. So we have to analyze the variation of the stresses due to the imposed load. The vertical stress increases with depth must be determined to calculate the amount of settlement. So we have to find out this vertical stress in order to predict the settlement of the structure. And the foundations and structures placed on the surface of the earth will produce stresses in the soil. Okay, the surface load may be foundation or the structures. These impose stresses on the soil which is under the structure. Okay, and these stresses will decrease with distance from the load. When the distance from the load increases, the stress decreases. Okay, so directly below the load, the stress will be maximum, and as the distance from the load increases, the stress decreases. These stresses decreases depending upon nature of the soil bearing the load. Okay, so we have to find out the stresses due to the surface load. First, we have to find out the stress due to a concentrated load. So, in order to find out the vertical stress due to concentrated load, there is mainly two methods. They are Boussinesq formula and Vestergaard formula. In your course or in your syllabus, only Boussinesq equation is referred. So, we can discuss about Boussinesq equation. This is the scientist. He is the scientist Boussinesq, who has derived the equation to find out the stress due to a concentrated load. Before going to the equation, we have to analyze the assumptions taken by Boussinesq in order to derive the equation. First is the soil is homogeneous and isotropic. Second assumption is the soil mass is semi-infinite, that is it extends to infinity in downward direction and lateral direction. And the soil mass in an elastic continuum obeys Hooke's law and is having a constant value of modulus of elasticity. You know what is Hooke's law. So here the soil mass is an elastic continuum which obeys Hooke's law. And it is assumed that the soil is weightless and is free from residual stresses before the application of load. Next assumption is that the change in volume of soil upon application of load is neglected. We are neglecting the change in volume. And last assumption is the stresses are distributed symmetrically with respect to z axis. So these are the assumptions for Boussinesq equation. Next, we can find out the equation for calculating stress due to concentrated load. For that, according to Boussinesq analysis, the vertical stress increase at point A caused by a point load of magnitude P. That is, here this is the external load acting on the soil. Okay, this is the external load, and we have to find out the vertical stress at any point A. Okay, we have to find out the vertical stress at this point, at any point A, and this point is at a depth of z from the ground level. This is the ground level, and here the external load P is acting, and the point where we have to find out the stress is at a distance of r, radial distance r from ground surface, and depth is z. According to Boussinesq analysis, the vertical stress increase at point A caused by a point load of magnitude P. The P is point load acting at the surface, and Boussinesq has derived the equation like this, that is sigma z is equal to 3p by 2 pi z square 1 by 1 plus r by z the whole square raised to 5 by 2. This is Boussinesq equation. This is very important. Based on this, problem will be asked in the university question. And that is, we are calculating the vertical stress at point A, and the depth of this point from ground surface is z. This is the depth, and r is the radial distance. So in this equation, r by z is the factor, and this equation can be modified like this. We can take p by z square here, and all other parameters is taken as a constant, that is ib. Okay, so p by z square into IB, where IB is known as influence factor, and its value is what will be its value? We are taking out P by Z square here, then remaining elements 3 by 2 pi into 1 by 1 plus R by Z the whole square raised to 5 by 2. Okay, so what the value of IB is like this, that is 3 by 2 pi into 1 by 1 plus R by Z the whole square raised to 5 by 2. So this is the Boussinesq equation to find out the vertical stress at any point A due to the point load P. Okay, and equation shows that the vertical stress is directly proportional to the load. That is, from this equation, the vertical stress is directly proportional to load P and is inversely proportional to the square of the depth. Inversely proportional to the depth squared, and proportional to some function of the ratio r by z. Okay, which is proportional to this function r by z. So in this equation we have discussed about influence factor, that is IB is equal to 3 by 2 pi into 1 by 1 plus R by Z the whole square raised to 5 by 2. And by substituting the values for R by Z, if we take R by R as 0, what will be the value of IB? IB is equal to 0.4775. That is, in this equation we can put the value of R by Z as 0. That is 3 by 2 pi into 1. So that value is 0.4775. That is, if R by Z is 0 or depth is 0, that is at surface, the IB will be 0.4775. Like that, we can give different values for R by Z and we will get the value of influence factor like this. So this is the standard value. This is the chart showing the variation of influence factor with the ratio of R by Z. Okay, this table is in your textbook Aurora. Next is the pressure distribution diagram. So this Boussinesq equation may be used to draw three types of pressure distribution diagram. First one is the vertical stress distribution on a horizontal plane at a depth Z below the ground surface. And the second is the vertical stress distribution on a vertical plane at a distance R from the load point. And third one is the stress isobar. So using this Boussinesq equation, we can draw vertical distribution on a horizontal plane, vertical distribution on vertical plane, and a stress isobar. So first is the distribution on a horizontal plane. So this is the figure showing or diagram showing the vertical stress distribution on a horizontal plane at a depth Z. That is, vertically below the point P or the vertical or the surface load, the stress will be maximum. Okay, it is clear. That is, directly below the point P, that is below the surface load, the stress will be maximum. Then it will decrease towards sideways. Okay, because this effect is decreasing along the sideways direction. So this is the pressure distribution diagram like this. This is the distribution on a vertical plane. Okay, the vertical stress distribution on a vertical plane at a distance R from the point load. For different distance, the variation is like this. Here the vertical stress is maximum, then it is decreasing from the depth. And this is the stress isobar. An isobar is a line which connects all points of equal stress below the ground surface, or it is isobar is a stress contour. In this line the stresses will be same, so we can draw isobar like this, sigma z1. This is another isobar having same values of stress. Isobar also you have studied in G1, so I am not explaining too much. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in WhatsApp. So today's lecture is over. So in today's lecture we have studied about Boussinesq equation. So here you have to by heart these assumptions. First you have to study these assumptions very well. Next you have to by heart this equation, that is sigma z is equal to 3p by 2 pi z square 1 by 1 plus r by z the whole square raised to 5 by 2, where p is the surface load, z is the depth of the point where we are finding out the stress, and r is the radial distance. Okay, so thank you.